with all kind of cruelty, he is sort of shaking his gada on the water and killing so many aquatics. And then he is challenging the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, to really come and have a fight. And at that time, Varahadev is helping Mother Earth, who is under the water, float and keep Mother Earth in a safe position. And then he is about to catch a fight. And when the fighting is happening, Maitreya Muni is explaining that when Varahadev is fighting with this powerful demon, he is just like Kridanavat, like a plaything. So we're going to discuss two topics today as to how to acquire knowledge, the right sense of knowledge, and which Maitreya Muni is emphasizing in this verse. And the second thing we're going to discuss about how Lord exhibits his pastimes of killing demons like a plaything, like a toy. And these two, more and more we hear, we get that element of faith in Supreme Personality of Godhead. As you can see here, after uh, delivering Mother Earth and trying to keep her at a stable position, the fight is breaking out between Varahadev and Hiranyaksha, and Hiranyaksha is killed. So the essence of the verse is this: knowledge acquisition has to be in the descending stream of knowledge. The knowledge should flow from a bona fide source. And that is exactly why Maitreya Muni is saying, whatever I have learned from my prior acharyas, I'm conveying that to you. And when I'm conveying that to you, I have not added anything, I have not subtracted anything. I've given the knowledge as is. That's the reason why we have to distribute Bhagavad Gita as is, which is often referred as one where you have the verse by verse translation, and the knowledge dissemination has to be as is without any addition. So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita explains evam paramparam praptam imam rajashaya vidu. That means this science, Bhagavad Gita, which is coming up, the appearance of Bhagavad Gita is coming up on this coming Saturday. The Bhagavad Gita is all about supreme science, and it is received through a chain of disciplic succession, evam parampara praptam. And this evam parampara praptam is highlighted by Maitreya Muni in this verse. And how did we acquire knowledge? We acquired knowledge from his divine grace, through our founder Acharya, through our guru, through our spiritual uncles. And his divine grace received it through Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He received it from Gogor Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Then gradually Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Then the six Goswamis, 500 years ago, just after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, the six Goswamis whose picture we see on our altar in front of Lord Jagannath every day. And the six Goswamis received the knowledge from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who received it from his Guru Ishwarapuri, and gradually upstream Madhvacharya, then upstream Vyasadev and Narad Muni, Brahma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it has come in a disciplic succession, and the only way to understand knowledge and acquire knowledge is through the descending stream of knowledge. So Krishna is saying evam parampara praptam, and then Krishna is saying in a detailed way as to how to inquire to get knowledge. Tat vidhi pranipatena. So we have to approach somebody who is in this chain. The first criteria is he doesn't have to have PhDs or master's degrees and these mechanical degrees, they need to have come from the disciplic succession, from the parampara. And then by exhibiting the quality of humility, we have to approach a spiritual master and inquire submissively. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevata. Inquire, pariprashna. Prashna means inquire, by doing service. And that is how we have to acquire knowledge. And this descending process of knowledge is defined as we accept a bona fide authority and we try to find the truth by inquiring from the authority. But the current science, the maths, and whatever we have been learning in the colleges and universities, it is built based on ascending stream of knowledge. That means there has to be some experiment, it has to be induced, it has to be concluded, there has to be some assumptions, there has to be some axioms. So that process of knowledge, which is the ascending stream of knowledge, is the aroha pantha, or they do not accept any authority. For them, today Newton can be the number one, day after tomorrow it will be Einstein. So there is no such fixed process of accepting the authority, and they try to find truth by one's endeavor or experimentation and speculation. So we have two processes of acquiring knowledge stream, where the knowledge is streaming from descending from top to bottom, and ascending where it is based on one's endeavor and speculation. So the challenges with the ascending stream of knowledge is it's based on imperfect senses. There are four challenges of this ascending stream of knowledge. It is based on imperfect senses. When a stick is half dipped in a glass of water, it appears bent, but actually the stick is not bent because we have imperfect senses. We have the tendency to believe what we see. And we have the second problem with the ascending stream of knowledge is we have the tendency to be illusioned. So one example of that is whenever you're drinking carbonated water, even if carbonated water is of the same temperature as the regular water, carbonated water appears cooler to us. It is because we have the tendency to be illusioned. We see stars. We are not perfect. And the third challenge of the ascending stream of knowledge is we are prone to make mistakes. And you heard about to err is human. Some time back, Pluto, when we were child, when we were kids, Pluto was a planet. After some time, Pluto ceased to be a planet. Now Pluto has become a planet. So we have a tendency to commit mistake. And the fourth problem with the ascending stream of knowledge is we have a tendency to cheat. Human beings have the propensity to gain benefit by cheating. And these four imperfections, senses, illusion, tendency to commit mistake because to err is human, and our propensity to cheat makes us prone to getting errors if we follow a ascending process of knowledge, this process of experimentation. And some time back there was a article you might have seen, which was highlighting the fact that red wine is good for health. There are a lot of people in New Jersey and in your circles, they may have read it and they consumed a lot of this red wine, assuming that red wine is good for health. But after 15 years, a news came out, an article came out that this experiment which was done based on which red wine was supposed to be good for health, there was flaws, and that is not correct. So, and all those people who ended up resorting to this, newspaper article, research article, they fell victim and they fell let down by this process. So anything you see, believe, and you get is not absolute. The only thing which is absolute is what has come from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which we went through in the last slide. So because of this lack of correctness, the people, they fell, they were victims. So which is why we have to resort to some knowledge which has come from the bona fide authorities, exactly like how Maitreya Muni is highlighting here. And we have to take that into consideration in accepting something and rejecting something which is not favorable. So let's try to find out. Let's try to find out what does the ascending and descending process of knowledge acquisition tells us. So in the event of a question, a use case as to who is the father of a child, let's try to pose that question and try to get an answer to this problem. And then if we have a use case of is man mortal, does man die? So this is a simple question which will be applied today on the ascending stream of knowledge and descending stream of knowledge. Let's try to find out what is better, because if we don't get this, we will never be absorbing Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita for our lifetime, and we'll constantly be challenging, did anybody see this? Did anybody see Mahabharata? And see. So in the ascending process of knowledge, what we're going to do, the doctors and with due respect to everyone, what the science is going to do is they are going to do DNA testing on the kid and on the mother and potential fathers to find out who the father of the child is. And to find out if the man is mortal, they will do research to find out if cells lose agility and can't multiply, and then eventually the person dies. So that's how ascending process is going to work. The descending process is ask mom, who is the dad of the child. Very simple. You don't have to do DNA testing, anything like that. Likewise, to find out if a person dies or not, or he lives forever, you just accept the bona fide authority from the scriptures that everyone who is born eventually dies, which is written, and death is ultimate. And that descending process is so simple to come to a conclusion, otherwise beating around the bush in the ascending process. So the proof is, there are three kinds of proofs. And because of this, where we are really coming to the next segue. So there are three kinds of proof. We have pratyaksha praman, which is basically empirical, and sometimes seeing is not believing. In the desert, the person thinks water is down the line, but actually there is no water. Then the Anuman Praman, after Pratyaksha Praman, there is Anuman Praman, which is exactly what the six blind men go through when they check out an elephant. One blind man looks at the tail and thinks it is a snake, and someone catches hold of the leg and thinks that it's a pillar, and the other blind man looks at the ear and thinks it's a fan. So the Anuman Praman and Pratyaksha Praman are prone to fallacy and errors. And the real correctness lies in identifying the true Sabda Praman, which is hearing from a bona fide authority. Knowledge obtained through the process is free from these four defects we talked about in the last slide. We hear from the source. So here Maitreya Muni is emphasizing that, and here and also Maitreya Muni is very clearly explaining that that when you hear from the source, you not only take the correctness into account, but also you believe that the person with the right consciousness can transmit knowledge properly. Most of the time, whenever there is research happening, there is a lot of funding. People are working not to get to the bottom of the cause. People are working to get the money out. You might have heard about COVID, and through the process of COVID, now everyone is confused as to where COVID came from. Was it a mutation? Was it created? And this is prone because there's billions and trillions of dollars at stake, and it is based on a poor consciousness. It is based on greed. It's based on acquiring something. So whenever there is a wrong precedence, the outcome is going to be wrong. However, whenever there is right consciousness, Maitreya Muni, tremendously conscious person, and he would do nothing wrong in tarnishing the image of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as the consciousness is pure and the consciousness is crystal clear, the outcome is crystal clear. And the next thing Maitreya Muni is explaining is about how Lord is treating everything like a toy. In this example, Varahadev, when he is thumping the face of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyaksha, who is so powerful, who thinks that he can really take over the entire world, he is taking a step back. He is going out of the frame and re-strategizing and is coming back. But for Lord, it is just a splash of slap. But actually, that's why, and we went through this some time back, where in the second chapter of this verse, Lord is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, and we happen to discuss it as well in this forum. Lord is Bala Simhalokana. That means in Vrindavan, when Lord is in a playful mood, the people of Vrindavan doesn't think that he is so powerful. And he would cry, he would laugh just like a child. But then when Putana comes, he unleashes like a lion cub. And if you see the tendency of the pastime of Lord Krishna when he spent his time as a child, as a lion cub, it is mentioned that he never used his Sudarshan Chakra. The Sudarshan Chakra is there for a show beside Lord Jagannath. He doesn't have to use Sudarshan Chakra. Just thumping, twirling, sucking, dancing, you take the lives of these demoniac personalities, or you toil them hard. And so for them, so like a child who is breaking the toys and he thinks he is very powerful, likewise in practical sense, Lord would go about and he would kill them with, as if he can kill millions of demons. He is truly Balavan, one of the six opulences. And when he kills like a rock, and he doesn't. So when Mother Putana came with an intent, with an unfavorable intent, Lord Krishna sucked her life and liberated her. Didn't have to use anything. Trinavarta came like a whirlwind. Krishna became heavy and killed him. No use of any weapons, no use of gada, just become heavy. Bakasur, he came as a stork, and Krishna tore apart the beaks. Just like a child would play with the toys. Aghasur came as a snake demon, and Krishna expanded in his throat, and he has done. Vatrasur came as a calf in the when they were herding Vatsasur. Each of this can be a wonderful class by itself. He came as a calf. Krishna twilled him, and Vatsasur is done. Dhenukasur, he came as a donkey, and Balramji, he twirled his leg, and Dhenukasur has gone, but he has left a lot of Dhenukasurs around. So Pralamvasur came, and Balram hit his head. Balram is the first expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kalia was troubling with his poison. And what did Lord do? He didn't have to fight. He just danced on him. And just by dancing on him, he got rid of his poison. And then Aristasur came as a bull, thinking that Krishna loves cows, calves, and bulls. And Krishna, just as a child, trailed through his horns, and Aristasur is done. Casey demon came in the bank of Yamuna, and Krishna twirled his leg just like a child. And Vyomasur came, he appeared in the sky, and Krishna just threw him. Nowhere there is, and Kamsa, his maternal uncle, he wanted to fight and he wanted to kill Krishna, and Krishna just wrestled him and he was done. So Krishna is exhibiting that there is no need for any weapon with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And sooner we realize that and truly believe in Him, the faith, the right consciousness, and with the right attitude, the humility to acquire knowledge from a bona fide source, we will be enriched with knowledge and we will have the right attitude to serve and gain more knowledgeable day by day with the right humility, with a sense of caring for our parampara, because without parampara, we have nothing. There are many um, godmen with no parampara, and that's the reason why the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but we have lived millions of years in our parampara, and we just have to do that and recognize that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so powerful that he can really move things around without anything. And with that, a very powerful verse to meditate. With that, I'd like to end here. So hopefully we take something from this very powerful verse of believing in our parampara and believing the powerfulness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Hema Jagannatha. We'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead and offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Narsingha, Jai Narsingha, Jai Jai Narsingha, Praladesha, Jai Padma Mukha Padma Lingam, Ugravira Mahavira, Jhantam Sarvatmakam, Shringam Vishanam Bhadram, Namamiyam. Narsingha Bhagwan ki Jai, Prahlada ki Jai. Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Samar Vishnus, Mancha Kalpatarvasya, Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha. Vaishnavinda ki Jai, Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaur Premanande.
Thank you, Hema Jagannatha.
Hare Krishna.